Okay. And just so everybody knows, this meeting is going to be recorded, and that this would be able to be shared after the fact if you want to share it more in your circles. Okay, just keeping an eye out for. Okay. Well, hopefully he'll be on any second. Like I said, he was just having some difficulty staying on. But just really quick, we can do some housekeeping. While we have our speakers on, please keep yourselves on mute and please hold off on questions. After everyone has spoken, there's going to be an opportunity for a question and answers period. And if anyone has questions, please don't just unmute yourself and start asking questions. Please raise your hand in your Zoom box. And this way we will get to everyone. So this way no one's jumping over each other or anything with questions. And also when we're doing the questions, please make sure when you're asking the questions of whomever from the panel that it's no more than a minute. Let's, questions to the point. Let me just see. I would say, Fran, since we're waiting for Jonathan, maybe you can just share briefly of a CRDC event that's coming up that we would all love for you to be a part of. Fran, you just have to unmute yourself.
Hello, everybody. And for all of you, you are invited to our awards evening, which is on April 29th from 7 to 9. These are the people who are being awarded things. The fire department's EMS Station 7, which is on West 23rd Street, your Penn South Social Services, Joanne Sinovoy, one of our members, hello Joanne, and Darlene Waters. So for those of you, you've been notified, but you probably maybe haven't paid as much attention, please go to our website. The website is, okay, what is it? crdcnyc.org. And you will be able to pick up all the information and to buy your ticket so you can come. So please join us on that evening. It'll be very exciting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fran. And if you look back in any of the e-blasts, we had sent one out, I believe, yesterday or like earlier today and a couple of days, last few days. Take a look back in the e-blast and we have the link there that you can purchase your ticket.
You want to, Mindy, why don't you
Yes.
put it in the chat, our website address
Okay.
for anybody who wants to write it down now. Thank you.
Okay, you can visit our website and you can click right on calendar for the event. Okay. Let me just check in with Jonathan and hopefully we'll get started very shortly. I do apologize. Thank you for your patience.
Well,
Okay, I'm on.
Yay. Okay, Jonathan.
Sarah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I just have Jonathan,
Thank
just
you,
so you
Mila.
know.
My
Okay.
cat sitter has the fob.
Okay, so we're going to be starting in just one moment. Remember, please keep your microphones on mute, please, unless you're one of the speakers. Each speaker is going to have 3 minutes. And after all the speakers, like I said, we're going to have a question and answer period. Please don't drop questions in the chat. That's not how we're going to be doing it. Just raise your hand in your Zoom box and we will be calling on you. And please keep those questions to a minute. So Jonathan, whenever you're ready.
Yeah, thank you for joining us tonight for tonight's forum on the conversion of Fulton and Chelsea-Elliott houses to new.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't. Oh, I'm on mute. No, I'm not. Okay.
No, we hear you, Jonathan.
Oh, I followed these conversion plans closely, even writing about them many times in Chelsea Community News.
Can you hold on one moment? I'm trying to.
Okay,
Who's speaking?
before we continue, if you're not one of the speakers
I am
right now, can you please put yourself on mute, please?
Okay, can you
It's
hear
okay.
me?
Thank you, babe.
Okay, I had to put on a headset. I so apologize. My phone is all messed up.
Okay.
I can stay on now as long as you can hear me because you
No,
couldn't hear me
excuse
before.
me. Can you please put your, I'm going to have to mute everyone. Okay, Jonathan, you're going to have to unmute yourself, please.
All right.
Okay.
I've followed these conversion plans closely, even writing about them in Chelsea Community News. But what struck me as odd is that NYCHA kept saying that it would be a public-private development team lease over 99-year lease period. I don't live in NYCHA. I live in a very old brownstone. It's so old that it's 99-year lease with the city recently came up for renewal. As treasurer of the co-op's board and helping management manage the property, the city of New York has never attended any of our board meetings. But God forbid if we were missed to paying real estate tax, as the city would come in and take over. After this COVID age, that probably will happen to many properties. As NYCHA turns over its management of campuses to private companies and sheds its obligations as an employer to those properties, my inclination was to go to some of these properties to see how things were working or not working. I spoke to the boots on the ground, the tenant association presidents, Faisal Smith at Ocean Bay and Fort Rockaway, DeReese Huff at Campos Plaza 1 on the Lower East Side, Giselle Gavin at Betances houses, and Jacqueline Williams at Twin Parks in the Bronx. Unfortunately, the beloved Jacqueline Williams has passed away recently, and she will not be part of this. What I heard from the residents association presidents was that their properties were now safe and clean. Rules were enforced and their lives were uplifted. Yes, there were evictions, but they were bad eggs. Tonight, these association presidents speak out and please ask them questions. First to speak is Miguel Acevedo, Fulton Houses Tenant Association President, and Darlene Waters, Chelsea-Elliott Tenant Association President. Go ahead, Miguel.
Good evening, everyone, and I appreciate the club inviting us to speak about what we're looking to face in the near future here at Fulton Houses in Elliott, Chelsea. And more than welcome to take any questions that is being thrown at us until we can tell you why I wholeheartedly and my board and many residents at Fulton Houses support this plan. We've been going through hell for the last so many years. There hasn't been no funding coming from Washington, little bit coming from the city, and less coming from the state. So moving forward, if we feel if nothing's done sooner than later, who knows where Fulton Houses will be, especially in a community like Chelsea. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to introduce myself.
Darlene?
Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me join this meeting. I would like to say that basically the same thing that Miguel said. We really need a lot of upgrades here. If you can see me, I have a scarf on. Reason why, there's no heat. And people are tired of not having heat and hot water, and everything is just really falling apart. NYCHA has not did their job as far as repairs, and we have to have a lot of repairs in this program right now. And a lot of people, a lot of residents, they do agree that we need an upgrade. Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna go to Mike Noble, who's an Elliott resident, and he's also a member of the working Chelsea NYCHA Working Group.
Hi,
Mike,
thanks.
yeah,
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, my name is Mike Noble. I've lived in the Elliott houses with my son for about 18 years now, and I've been a member of CB4 for half that time. As one of the members of the Chelsea Working Group, I was happy to see its recommendations published in February. This group was the first of its kind to be able to engage directly with NYCHA and to actually have a say in a PACT conversion project. NYCHA has already completed these conversions in 49 developments, covering a total of 9,500 units. Just to review what our PACT conversion is all about, let me tell you that it is the Chelsea Working Group influenced version of RAD. Okay, it is not privatization. PACT is indeed, as you said, Jonathan, a public-private partnership where developments remain under public control through NYCHA. That means that NYCHA will continue to own the land and the buildings, administer the Section 8 subsidy and wait list, and monitor conditions at the development. The property management partner will be the responsible party for day-to-day operations and upkeep of the buildings and the grounds. By the way, most people don't realize this, but NYCHA is obligated under an agreement with HUD to convert a third of its properties under RAD. So this is part of all that. That's why they came after us. The subcommittee of the working group that has been drafting the RFP for the past couple of months, and NYCHA is hoping to get it out, this RFP, to potential partners by the end of this month. A resident selection committee will be formed soon to work hand in hand with NYCHA in picking a development partner. This is done, hoping to get this done by the fall. Resident engagement has been the hallmark of our PACT conversion project. It began back in October 2019 with resident meetings that have continued right up to our most recent PACT resident meeting this past Tuesday and Wednesday. Residents were mailed background materials for these meetings, the purpose of which was to explain the PACT process, including resident rights and responsibilities under a project-based Section 8 program. I attended both of these meetings, and I don't think I heard one or two negative comments about the project from anyone. Resident engagement meetings are going to be held during the summer for information sharing on design and construction topics. Then in the fall, the Resident Review Committee and NYCHA will select a development partner who will work with residents on construction plans, property management, and social service plans. Resident meetings will also be held to discuss how to prepare for PACT partners, engaging with them. So finally, in 2022, 2023, the development partners will be introduced to the residents at public meetings. At this point, the properties will convert to Section 8, the management partner will assume responsibility, and repairs will begin. So that's it. I thought I'd give you the nuts and bolts. I let Darlene and Miguel give you the boots on the ground, but just so you know how this works, it is not as advertised by our opponents a privatization. It's far from it. And I can tell you from my experience, this is so much needed because the infrastructure is dying. There's no money to fix anything. And the management is so entrenched here that it's impossible for tenants to be able to engage with them. One-to-one, get stuff done, understand what's happening with work orders and that sort of thing. So I'm thrilled about it. And just letting you know that I'm one of many people who can't wait for this all to happen. So thanks for the opportunity to talk.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Mike. That was great. Next on, I'm looking for Vissel Smith. Vissel, are you here? I don't see you. We have Doris Huff, and Doris Huff is the president of the Compost Plaza One Tenant Association on the Lower East Side. There is a Compost Plaza Two that's directly adjacent to her buildings, which is NYCHA and not under the private management. But go ahead, Giselle. Doris, please. Huff.
Hi, hello, good evening all.
Hi.
I just want to say hi, and I'm here for any available questions. Well, as you know, NYCHA had all their Section 8 buildings taken away from them. So we go on about 5 years since the private owners came in and remodeled our place and uplifted what we say that was a downhill thing for the tenants. Now I can say there's more. The tenants, I would say, are 95% more happier now with the private owners than with NYCHA. Yes, you are going to get a few that if they wasn't the proper owner of the apartment, they're not happy. Those were the ones that was they had to leave their apartments. If you wasn't the proper owner of the apartment, there's no way you can possibly stay in here under a lease that was your name was no longer on. They came in here, they redid our roofs, they redid our boiler rooms. NYCHA used to have heat, which was steam. NYCHA used to turn us off at 10 p.m. at night. Now we get heat 24 hours a day as we control it. They gave us something that's called CPAC units. That's heat and air conditioner. Whenever we want it, we use it. In the summer months, you use the air. Winter months, you use the heat. But you don't have to turn it on in order to get heat. The heat runs through the machine automatically. But if you want the heat to blow around your apartment, then you have to turn it on and put it on fan. They came in, they revamped our hallways, our stairwells. We no longer have the urine, the peeing. We were destroyed by Hurricane Sandy. Our elevators, our lobbies, they came in and redid it all, new mailboxes. They lifted up this whole place. We even got a new backyard that I like to call it the baby Central Park. That's how beautiful it is. Where before it used to be only the bad people out there, the gangs and whatever. Well, now it's so well organized to where everyone comes down. Everybody that lives in here, the Asians, Black, Hispanic, whoever lives in the building, they come down, they enjoy the back of the building, whether they want to read a book or just sit out there and catch sun or just to relax. The other thing I like about it, with the private owners came in, we have our head of security are retired lieutenants. It's a retired lieutenant and a retired sergeant. They come in, they contract a security department to come in and patrol our buildings and make sure everything in the building's running fine and everything is good in the building. We don't have any more gates, which I think was a big thing for me. NYCHA had us gated in like we were animals. That was one of the requests that I had. Take the gates down, make it more brighter, make it to where you can invite company to where we live. They have made this place 1,000 times better than what NYCHA could have ever did. NYCHA couldn't have did this, what these private owners came and did in a million years, nor were they trying. When we get work orders, if you get a work order to your apartment, if you need a work order, that work order is answered 24 to 48 hours. We got a live-in super that comes up and repairs and fix as needed. If it's something he can't repair or fix, they'll bring in, like if it's plumbing, they'll bring in plumbers. They'll bring in anybody they need to bring in. So that was the best thing I like about the private ownership. But if anybody has any questions for me, I'm here.
Thank you, Doris. That's great. Could you tell me about how the doors like don't get broken anymore?
Oh, no.
And there's always security in all the hallways?
Yes. Our doors, well, they made them a little stronger and they put a different kind of handle on it to where they can't pull them anymore and break them. And if they see you breaking them and you live in the building, whoever you are, you, your kid, or whoever, you get fined. Your apartment gets fined and you pay for that broken door. And that's a strike against your apartment for vandalism and whatever. But it doesn't happen much. And if we have cameras on every floor, it's cameras, seeing cameras, but there's no cameras pointing into anybody's apartment. The cameras are just for everybody to be comfortable on the floor. And like if people, we had a shooting in here a couple of months ago, domestic violence, to where that's what made them put the cameras on every floor. If something is going on in an apartment and you have so many tenants that are afraid to dial 911, so they put the cameras on the floors. So if something is happening on the floor now, they'll be able to see it.
Thank you, Doris.
Don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies pop your pussy like this. Shit body, don't stop, don't miss. Just do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it now.
I'm trying to take care of it. I'm trying to take care of it.
You should. Right now. Lick it good. Suck.
I apologize. We have some crashers apparently.
All right, is Giselle here? Or Vizzle? Okay, the next speaker is a very interesting girl. When I was up in Betances houses up in the Bronx, she came out, she was in the office and she came out that she was helping everybody. And what her name is Paola Martinez. She's the social community service director at Betances houses. And she's from the Catholic Charities. And she helps, one of the big things is if you're back on rent or you don't have enough money to pay, this person will help you. This group.
Jonathan, unmute yourself again. Sorry, I'm just gonna, as long as people are crashing in with the noise, I'm just.
Delivered to me the other day, and now I'm here. I don't want to get McDonald's. And where is it? We're too far away.
Hey, the big man's back. www.thekickfrombrooklyn.com. Never see them sign.
I'm fuming. Alcoholics getting straight away.
There's noise.
I am
Miss
trying.
Martinez is the one that's supposed to be speaking. Paola?
Yes, I am here.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so I know that I have 3 minutes and I want to be brief. So what I will do is that in my first minute, I will explain you what the social services program is. And then in the other 2 minutes, I guess that I will tell you what we're doing. And if you have any questions, please type them. I am happy to answer any questions live right now or provide my information. Donatan, please feel free to share my information with the audience. I will be happy to explain any questions. So my name is Paola Martinez, and I am the Social Services Director for the Betances Houses. I work for Catholic Charities. You may be familiar with the organization. As the social services site at the Betances Houses, what we basically do is that in addition to providing services through Catholic Charities, we liaise with other community-based organizations and city agencies, as well as elected officials, to be able to bring more resources to the residents at the Betances Houses. And that includes food pantries, cash assistance, legal assistance,
Excuse me. I have a question, please.
No, questions wait till after the speakers.
Yeah. We have been able to do this. I'm sorry, I lose my train of thought with the interruption. We have been able to provide many services, and what we do is that we conduct door-to-door outreach. We go to the apartments, we call people, we send emails, we invite them to our events, we work closely with management and with the tenants associations in order to be able to reach our residents. We have over 3,000 residents at the Betances houses, and we have a total of 41 buildings. So this is very important for us because we want to make sure that the services reach the people that need it the most. Just to provide a brief example, and I know I may be running out of time, some of the most difficult cases that we have had to deal with is cases that involve hoarding and mental issues. So the reason why I personally, and not as a worker for Catholic Charities, support these social services on site is because people not only need a clean apartment, an elevator that's working, people need access to services to improve their lives. And sometimes it's difficult when they don't know how to navigate the system and they don't know where to go. And especially if one of the biggest issues that we have encountered is individuals who are suffering from depression, anxiety, and other mental health issues such as hoarding. And those have been the most difficult cases to work with. I can tell you that our residents, what they express that they need most is access to jobs, mental health services, and other health services. So we have been focusing most of our efforts on those fronts. And you know, I think this is a great opportunity for the people that live at Betances. And after the renovations in the apartments, it wouldn't have been enough just to renovate the buildings. Without the social services component, I think that RAD wouldn't be working the same way it does. And yes, there was a lot of hesitancy, people thinking that they were going to be displaced from their apartments, but we have been able to be that organization that, you know, protects the needs of the residents and also advocates for them, so that if they are in the legal procedure, the landlord actually will work with them, and nobody has been evicted, because as long as there is a way to help them, we always get the time that they need to get their stuff in order and preserve their housing, which is the most important priority for our program. Thank you for the opportunity to speak, and I look forward to, you know, any of your questions or follow-up.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Martinez. That was great. My question right away is this a service that's at all the RAD properties that have been converted to RAD Section 8?
Can you repeat that? I'm so sorry, Donathan.
Is this a service like the Catholic Charities? Is this a service that's at all RAD properties, all the properties that have been converted to Section 8?
This is this is a very important component of the PAC sites. If a site is going to be converted to PAC, there has to be a social services coordinator on site. It's mandatory.
Okay, thank you.
And funding comes from the same package too.
The funding comes from where?
In the conversion process, when they allocate the funding for, renovations and everything in between, there is also a funding for social services.
Oh, okay, thank you. Now I guess we'll open it up, Mindy, to questions because we're missing the Housing Tenant Association president from Ocean Bay and from Betances. But any Betances questions can also go to Ms. Martinez.
Now, as I explained in the beginning of the meeting, thank you, Jonathan. If you have a question, thank you, Brenda. No, please just raise your hand in your Zoom and I will call on you. Brenda, thank you.
Yes, hello, everyone. Thank you for having this platform. My name is Brenda Temple. I live in Oceanside Development, right across the street from Ocean Bay, which is a RAD conversion. And in my experience, the people in Ocean Bay, can you hear me?
Yes.
The people in Ocean Bay are wishing that they had kept it NYCHA public housing. And the reason I'm saying that is because there have been numerous complaints. I'm a leader in the community. I'm on the Committee for Independent Community Action, founded by Dr. Lenora Fulani, who's a civil rights activist and much more. And so what we're fighting for the residents against privatization, because we know that even though you're beautifying the grounds, the insides of the apartments, which are, from my experience, Band-Aids, there are refurbished appliances. I'm talking about the cabinets are falling apart already, the refrigerators, the stoves, the paint jobs are very low quality. The floors are coming up and they're having problems with their heat. I don't know if it's just this development, but I do know that Wavecrest is the manager. And people are complaining that Wavecrest is actually harassing a lot of the tenants. They're raising the rents astronomically.
I'm sorry, Brenda, what is your question and to who are you asking the question to? Right now we're doing the questions of the.
Well, you know what? Let me put it this way. You say that in the PACT or the RAD, there are social services available. Why is it that these residents are saying that they have no recourse many times because of the harassment from the management office? Where is the social service for people whose rents are going up, people that are getting evicted left and right? We know that Ocean Bay is the only development where there are more people that have been evicted than in all of New York City housing. So I want to know why that is. The bottom line is evictions, gentrification, displacement of families and community. It has to be people before profit. We are tired of this and we are going to fight back, and we are fighting back.
Thank you, Brenda. I went to Ocean Bay and I spoke to a lot of the people that were outside that lived there. During these COVID times, they spent a lot of time indoors, but I spoke to a few, and you're right, Ocean Bay had heating problems, and but they also feel safe now. They have somehow gotten rid of all the gangs, and many of the people actually want to move out of Ocean Bay because the surrounding area has a lot of shootings. That's what I learned from the tenants of Ocean Bay. They're afraid to let.
Okay, but you have to look deeper than that. Yes, I agree that some of the people, some of the residents do need to be put out because of what they're doing. But there are more people that I happen to know personally that are hardworking, low-income residents that are essential workers and have always been essential. And they're being harassed. Their rent is going up and they're being, I'm just saying, there's a lot of evictions going on. They're not happy with the quality of work that's going on. And no, they do not have good security over there. They promised them good security, but there's no security at all over there other than the new door units and some cameras. They don't have people on the property that they have promised that they would have. And so the reason why there might be a lower crime rate is because people are joining more programs today than they were before. People are trying to find a way out of a hostile long-term situation that is generational. And we have to give these people an opportunity. Where are they supposed to go? I'm letting you know that in other neighborhoods, there are people that are not Black that have children that are on drugs, that are in trouble, but they have other recourses. They have places to go. They have money to pay for these things. And we need to give our people a break. And it's not only their fault, this is systemic. Stop it.
Thank you, Brenda. And you know, I also found at Ocean Bay a few people that were working mothers and single mothers who said that their rent was going up because they weren't, I don't know, they were working people, and that they were paying up to 40%. It was only a few of them, and the most of the people that I talked to liked it. So, you know, it's I don't know, it's not all bad, and it was mostly good.
The next question we have is from Kala. Please, the questions, 1 minute, and we can get to the answers. Kala, you're gonna have to unmute yourself if you're asking a question. Okay, we'll go to Alan. You can ask the question, Alan.
Good evening, and thank you for this presentation. My name is Alan Oster. I'm a resident of Chelsea and also a member of Community Board 4. And to Mike and Miguel, my question, or if you can perhaps just clarify something. A lot of what folks are anticipating in terms of funding for repairs out of the stimulus package that was recently passed are expecting that amount of money to cover what's anticipated for the NYCHA housing. And I see Hector smiling there. Maybe Hector wants to answer this question and just clarify the fact, how much money is coming, where is it going, and is it really going to affect us? Thank you.
So Alan, I'll answer some of that question. I'll let Hector and Mike respond also. So from my understanding, the proposal from the Biden administration in this bill is to give $40 billion nationwide, not to the New York City Housing Authority. So that does not guarantee that enough money is going to go for NYCHA. NYCHA itself today is in a $40 billion deficit alone. So they definitely not going to get the $40 billion. And then who knows, because what's been happening to NYCHA in New York is mismanagement. So the money goes where they decide to put it. So there's no guarantee that that money will ever hit the Chelsea developments. We don't trust NYCHA in whole because how they ended up in $40 billion deficit, we don't even know that. So the thing is, we're in a puzzle situation where now we know that there's money that's available, which was a program which every single person that's partly on this Zoom call voted for this individual, was the Obama administration. He came up with this plan. Moving forward, hoping this was the only way that private and public money would be available to preserve public housing.
Okay,
Now,
thank you.
let me chime in with Miguel. He's absolutely right. Only a small part of that $40 billion would probably ever see the coffers of NYCHA here in Chelsea. All right, there are a lot worse off developments all over the city that I'm sure NYCHA would want to put the money to. And not only that, at this point, having come this far along with us, there is no way that that federal money is going to land here unless people do a lot of lobbying for it. So, you know, I say take the money, you know, take the deal that's in our hand, you know, and just run with that. Don't wait on something that might not ever happen. So that's my thought. And then, and Miguel's right. Don't trust anyone to be putting any preferences on Chelsea. That's for sure.
If I might pipe in there too. Look, all you have to do is look at the history, as Miguel and Mike had mentioned, this is not the first time that huge amounts of money have been released to NYCHA and a bunch of the developments. Obviously through mismanagement or whatever the case may be, it never reached to the areas that needed it the most. That's why these buildings continue to be dilapidated and deteriorating, and that's why we're at where we are right now. Okay, this is a solid plan to move forward. This is not something that maybe we might get some funds in the hope that it'll save our buildings and our residents here. This is a solid plan that's been well thought out for almost 18 months to going on 2 years now. Okay, so this is not something that was just figured out overnight. This took the original RAD impact plan and made it 100 times better with a lot of protections and funding in place, all planned out to make this work. Okay, and we can have turnaround on these homes and back in really good shape, and hopefully in the next 2 years. Not something that's going to be 5 years or 10 years out or 20 years out. And also bear in mind, there's no guarantee that once this money is gone and used up, that there will be more forthcoming from the government.
You know, one more thing. Let me just say one thing, because we're tending to forget this. Miguel and Darlene, all of us who've been on the working group and all, we've all of a sudden started to take for granted the fact that we've got this resident engagement that started from day one and will last throughout the entire project. Okay, nobody else in these RAD conversions, you know, have had this. So that's what's going to make the difference, because we're going to have engagement that's embedded in documents that are legally enforceable. All right, and like I said, we forget that sometimes. And what we hope is that this model will, you know, make this whole development of ours different from the rest of them. All right, so we got to give this a try. All right.
Thank you. I have
Because
Kala.
that's a
Then
critical part of this. What makes us all different here in the Chelsea developments.
okay, thank you, Mike. We have Kala and then Fran.
Okay, so I had a question for what's her name? Oh, Brenda. So I was talking to one of my closest friends, and he told me about your situation. He told me that you had one of the
Oh, boy.
Yeah, just I apologize about that. Okay.
Fran?
Yeah, Fran, go ahead.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I
Whoa.
have a fundamental question, and Ocean Bay has converted in some way, or is being there's some private group that is running it. Is that correct? Number one. And number two, is the experience of Ocean Bay going to be very different than what you are proposing here in Chelsea? And number three, is there any recourse for Ocean Bay, and to whom would they go to complain? I'm trying to.
Exactly.
So to answer that question, if you don't mind, Mindy.
No?
So the good thing is we're glad we're hearing issues that is at Ocean Bay. Brenda, I direct this to you, because what we're going to do with our committee, we're listening to residents from other developments. We're going to make sure that a Wave Crest doesn't make it to Chelsea, that other developers that are bad developers don't come here to put us through what you're going through at Ocean Bay. And I can tell you, if you need our support And we got to go to the Rockaways to support you. We're here to support you to make sure that Wave Crest, if they're doing wrong by your residents or by your neighbors, we'll make sure that the housing authority does what it's supposed to do and remove that bad management out of there. Because that's the agreement that we have with them, that if you bring a property manager here that doesn't do what's supposed to be done, NYCHA is obligated to remove them. And that's what NYCHA should be doing over there if that's the way your tenants are being treated.
And that's the thing. Thank you for saying that. It's that the residents don't know what their rights are. Whoever resident engagement is, they're not being trained fully. They don't understand. And that's what the developers are counting on. They're counting on our innocent ignorance, you know? And so, I mean, I'm wondering where the attorneys are that represent the residents and why they're not standing up and speaking up for these residents. And they have legitimate complaints. If it were in NYCHA, we would be able to have some kind of recourse. But under these new management and the privatized developers, they don't have the same opportunities to go and to speak their case, to show their case or represent themselves. And so that's the problem here under this new management and whatnot in the programs. And all of them seem to be pretty much the same. I know that Blueprint has more resident engagement or management type of a thing going on. But the bottom line is, and you know, I wish to God that you guys would come in and do the right thing. But the bottom line is, and I can't shake it, is that you want us out eventually. Yes, in time, so that you can move other people in, and the other people will be paying market rate rent. Therefore, you know, low income will be just for a small percentage, and the community will be just near the beach, exactly what the people from Manhattan always wanted. You keep pushing us to different places, and then you continue to push us out.
Brenda,
I don't see you doing that in Maspeth. I don't see you doing it in Forest Hills or Rego Park. Why do you keep attacking low-income places where we have nowhere else to go?
Brenda, the apartments are all are Section 8. They're permanent Section 8 for the 99 years. So you can't move just anyone in there.
That's right.
The people that are moved in there are on a NYCHA waiting list. So that end of it is pretty strong. The thing that I have a question of with Ocean Bay is, do they have a social services group like Betances has with Miss Martinez? In that way, there would be an in-between person that they're supposed to have to communicate these problems between the tenant and the private management company. Have you heard from that, Brenda? Any social services?
Non-existent. The people are on their own. They're going helter skelter. They either don't know, or it's that the management is not allowing them the information, or not giving them the information, or not having that conversation with them so that they can really address these issues. They're putting eviction notices on their door, telling them to get out, telling them to go to court. They're bullying them. They're threatening them. The people are scared. And it's not right. If a person has issues, there should be some type of a recourse where it can be fixed. They have an opportunity to have it fixed, rather than just be evicted and run away from the situation. That's
well, Ocean Bay was the first to go privatized. It was 2016, and that's the first property. And they probably have some problems that they need to iron out. And maybe us as a group can help do that. You know, we have a strong group here of leaders, community leaders that could probably help them. Because when I went to Ocean Bay's offices, I didn't hear from a social services person coming out to meet me like I did at Betances. And you know, maybe Doris, you want to say something?
Yes. Here on my side, we have University Settlement. That's also a backup, and that helps us with anything else that we need to have.
And if we move forward with our plan, as everybody knows, our settlement house is Hudson Guild, and that's what we're looking forward to work with our social issues. And Brenda, I personally gonna call the GM tonight to tomorrow to find out exactly what's going on over there in Ocean Bay. And the sad part is the Tenant Association president was invited to this meeting. Unfortunate, he or she is not here, and we could have heard more from the TA president, and we could have understood more what was actually going on at Ocean Bay. Because we
Exactly. I'm surprised too.
I'm Doris McLaughlin, Resident Council President,
There you go.
Oceanside. I just called him and he's trying to get in now.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Doris.
And
You're welcome.
Can
Paola
you
just
answer a
wanted to
question
say,
that Phyllis raised in the questions just now about local politicians? Just a quickie. One of the things that distinguishes Chelsea, we are fortunate to have every single elected official on our side advocating from day one. Dick Godfrey, Brad Hoylman, Jerry Nadler, everybody, you name them, and they go to bat for us. And that's the unusual part about it here. You know, we have that backing that other places might not, and the residents have to learn how to engage with them as well.
No, we have engaged. Our elected officials are for it. All of our elected officials in the Rockaways are for the privatization, red, pack, blueprint, whatever you want to call it. They're for it. They do not stand with the residents. They do not stand. They do not accept Khalil Anderson. They do not stand with the residents of public housing in the Rockaways, the residents that put them in office. They do not stand with us. We have a new assemblyman who does.
Okay.
We have one person out of four politicians, 4 of our elected officials that do not stand with us.
Paola, you can, you may ask a question. I see Vissel just came on. I guess after Paola can speak, then Vissel.
His name is Vissel.
Vissel, I apologize.
Yes, so I don't think I have a question, more so I have a clarification. So for Ocean Bay, which I am familiar with, they do have their social services team, although it's not Catholic Charities of the Archdiocese of New York. They do have their social services provider, and I think that if anyone wants to be put in contact with them, I'll be happy to facilitate an introduction, to be able to coordinate a meeting with these folks there. And I think that I agree with many people here who have said that there is a dire need for resources in all of these housing sites. And many times people lack the information, they don't receive the proper information for many reasons, right? So I do think that, those concerns are valid. And I think that's one of the main things that anyone who is participating in this experiment is trying to accomplish, to make sure that the information gets to people quickly, because when they are in this legal procedure, that sometimes we have to initiate the legal procedure in order for the residents to actually qualify for help. Some organizations will ask people, are you on legal, so that they can have access to grants. So if we look at the statistics of how many people are on the legal procedure to judge, that can give us some wrong numbers, because sometimes that is a requirement to receive the help.
I'm listening to his Zoom.
Thank you.
Now.
Jonathan, Vissel is on.
Oh. Yeah, go ahead. Vissel's the president of Ocean Bay Tenant Association. Go ahead, Vissel.
Well, I don't know what the question was. I just got on, so I don't know what people was.
Well, we'll get you a question. Brenda, are you still on with us? Brenda?
Yes, hi. Hi, Vice.
Yeah, we got the president of Ocean Bay with us. He's been the president for 8 years. Go ahead.
Yeah, Vice, my question is that, were you aware that there are more evictions in Ocean Bay than all of New York City housing in the past year or two or so? Are you aware of that? And why is it that residents are complaining, and you know I'm a leader in the community, they're complaining about inside their apartments, they're complaining about no real security on the outside of the apartments that was mentioned about, by management that they would have, as well as the rents going up astronomically, and that there seems to be no recourse. Management, Wavecrest, is bullying these people, threatening them. What are you doing about this? And are you aware of what's going on?
Well, as for the first question, right, Waycrest do not control the rent. The rent is generated through Section 8, which is NYCHA. NYCHA controls the Section 8 portion, what it may be in our rent. We pay 30% of what our income is, whatever the income of the household. I have to pay 30% of what my income, whatever income me and my daughter make in the household, we pay 30%. And Section 8, right? I don't have Section 8, but I'm just saying, NYCHA controls my income, whatever the rent is. They tell me how much I have to pay through Section 8.
Good question. So you don't have Section 8, and why is that? Because you make above what Section 8 provides?
It's two parts. Because what I make, right? You know, because of the apartment, right? So, right, I didn't sort of like, no, it's a Section 8 do, you have to do like recertification, right? It's like every
6 months.
6 months, right? And I missed the paper, so I had to apply for all over again.
Okay, so my question is that a lot of, yeah.
As for,
are you aware that residents have issues?
As for the eviction, we met with them over the eviction. Well, some people were squatters, right? Because we went through the list with them. We went through the list with them, right? Listen, we went through the list with them. The resident council, we wasn't the only ones that went through the list with them. Ocean Bay CDC went through with the list with them. We had Khalil here, right? To go through the list with them, right? They broke down the list that some of the people were squatters, right? That the people had moved out and left apartments to other people, right? So some people were squatters. Some people didn't want the program, right? Some people didn't want the program. They didn't want the voucher or anything, right? When they converted over, when they asked them, could they, if they want to leave to another development, they didn't want it. And we was trying to get them to sign up for the program. So those people who didn't want the program, they was on the list too, right? So we was trying to get them into the program so they wouldn't lose their apartment. So like a year, so it's three folds. It was three different parts. It was those people who were squatting, and it was about a good 20 to 30 people that were squatting. Then it was those people who didn't want the program that we try to get them assistance. We even bring in lawyers to try to get them assistance to help them to get into the program. And as for security, the security part, right? They did put more cameras. They do have somebody watching the cameras, what it may be, watching the lobby and stuff like that. The cameras do work, right? The cameras do work, stuff like that there, right? They added more cameras than we had here. Originally, before they took over, we only had 70 cameras here. There was only 70 cameras here. We have more cameras now, right? We have more lighting now than we had before. So,
and so do we, right, on the NYCHA side.
But we have more cameras.
So the question is that,
right, we have more cameras. We only had 70 cameras. We only had 70 cameras before they got here. There was only 70 cameras here, and it was only in certain areas. Every building have cameras now. Every lobby have cameras now. There's cameras on the roofs. Every building have cameras on the roof, in the lobby, in the elevator. We never had cameras in the elevator. We never had cameras on the roofs. Right? We had cameras.
Management promised that they would have a security detail that would ride around in that development. Where is that?
That was never discussed. None of the RAD meetings I was at. That was never discussed at none of the RAD meetings that there would be any security, what it may be. And I was at a lot of RAD meetings.
Vissel, I got a question.
I want to know if anybody out there right now are making any complaints or do they have any issues that you have heard about that are not being addressed. Maybe it's over your head, maybe they need to go somewhere else, but a lot of the people that are being evicted need to have proper representation. These people are telling me that they're being harassed and bullied by way of Crest management. What are you doing about that in your relationship with them? That's my last question.
Well, we have a partners meeting, right? We have a partners meeting. The partners meeting, that's something that the resident council set up. No other development has a partners meeting. Where we would have a partners meeting. We meet twice a month, right? Which is Catholic Charity, Ocean Bay CDC, Chelsea, New York, which is Waycrest, which is, us as well, the resident council. We meet and we discuss issues about wraparound services that everybody is doing, what everybody is doing in the development. So what is Catholic Charities doing? What is Ocean Bay CDC is doing? What is Child Center New York doing? So we talk about what is Waycrest doing, right? We have an open door policy with Waycrest that we have a hotline number, right? Like, so, okay, if something happened at nighttime, that we can call the super and tell them that a problem is going on. We have a direct line with the manager and with the partners meeting. Susan is on the partners meetings too. So it's not just the manager, we have the higher ups on the partners meetings as well. So any problem, we can address it right there on the partners meeting twice a month. We never had that before. We never had a partners meeting where we could address the problem with the higher ups, that you can go past the manager, what it may be. This is something we set up. We said we wanted a partners meeting. We wanted an open door policy because stuff happens at the nighttime. Stuff happens, what it may be. These in case if a resident can't get no help at the office, this way here we can advocate for them directly with the partners.
Yeah, Vissel, I got a question for you.
May I ask a question that's really important? You mentioned two things that confused me. I'm the TA president here at Fulton Houses. One of them was you brought up the 6-month recertification. That's the first time I heard that. I always thought it was an annual recertification. The other thing
once a year.
Right, but he just said 6 months.
You're right, he did.
He did. The other thing you mentioned, that all the units are not Section 8. Under the RAT PAC agreement, all the units are supposed to become Section 8. That's another thing I'm confused about. And then the third thing I want to ask, which is important to us here, because there's been advocates, especially people running for office in our district, saying that the evictions that took place at Ocean Bay were illegal evictions. Could you go on the record and tell us that they were not illegal evictions like you were just trying to explain to Brenda?
Yes, Miguel, I'm sorry. I understand what he's saying. If people refuse to let their apartment turn over and take the Section 8, they left themselves vulnerable. Let me tell you, that is true. What this young man said is true. If people were standing out, refusing to fill out that application from the beginning and not giving them they reported income, they decided to opt out. Once you opt out, your apartment now becomes Section 8. You're not under Section 8. Your apartment now comes market rate value. Okay? Every time you do not sign that 1 year, every year you do your lease. When you don't sign it, your apartment becomes market rate value. And this is what a lot of tenants were not understanding. Like we tell them, like he said, all we can do is ask them and tell them, please get your recertifications in on time. You got a lot of tenants that be like, no, I'm gonna do what I wanna do. Okay, do what you wanna do, but then don't point the finger back at me when you get evicted. I understand exactly what that young man is saying, because it is true. And then, like he said, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it because we have the same issue here. Every year we have a recertification once a year. But if they do not fill out that recertification form, our recertification goes from it ends every May, starts our new rent. If they don't have it in by April 26th, their apartment now becomes market rate value. And if
No,
you know
Doris,
you live
I've
in,
got to stop you, Doris. Please let me
All
just interrupt you for just a minute. If I beg my pardon, please.
Okay.
These Section 8 conversions that are happening, okay? These are property-based tenant vouchers. The Section 8 voucher stays with the apartment, okay? It doesn't ascribe to the tenant. It stays with the apartment, okay?
That's not true. Not with us.
Listen, let me just tell you, we've just drafted this agreement here. So we're in the process of doing this, so we know the details. These are property-based tenant vouchers. That's the whole trick to getting the financing to support this conversion. That's where the money comes from, okay? It's the voucher attaches to the property so that financing can be done through the tenant protection voucher program. All right, that's how the money happens. There's never, ever going to be a market rate apartment in any of these rad packed conversion developments. It just can't happen by law.
Wow.
So whoever's telling you otherwise, they're not telling you the truth.
Right,
If you don't certify either in NYCHA or in Section 8, yeah, you're gonna lose out. You gotta certify, you gotta recertify. So,
Exactly. So if you don't recertify, you lose your voucher, correct? Exactly. They're losing their vouchers.
Of course you do. You do that in Section 9 as well.
But this is what we're saying. People are opting out. What he said is people did not want to join the program. If you don't want to join the program, you're opting out of it. And if you're opting out of Section 8, you're opting out of the program. Exactly.
When the conversion happens, the apartment automatically, the apartment, not you, not your friend, the apartment becomes a Section 8 apartment, okay?
The first year.
Section 8 voucher attaches to the property, not to the individual, all right?
Okay.
So he can run away, you can run away. It doesn't matter. That apartment stays the way it is. That's the deal here. See?
Okay.
All right,
we have some hands up, and I want to be respectful of those that are
All right.
also waiting. So I have Miguel, David, Luana, then Susan.
Mindy, okay, I already asked the questions of ISO and.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I sort of went it up again. I
just
apologize.
I'm sorry, but I'm satisfied with what I asked and the answers I'm hearing. But just to say one quick thing about Mike, that's the issues that we're having, is what we're looking to put at Elliott and Fulton is a lot different. What happened at Ocean Bay, that happened at Kips Bay, that happened at Wise Towers.
Exactly, Miguel. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell him.
Right, but then we don't know. Doris could be correct.
Oh yeah.
If they have a port voucher over there, a different voucher after 1 year, it can change if the tenant does not sign up. I don't know. We don't know. That's why ours is totally different.
You're right, Miguel. You're right. You're absolutely right. They might not have tenant-based vouchers over there.
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, David.
Hi, thank you, everyone. It's been a very lively program. Wow. I have two questions. One is, how do you all feel about the facial recognition? Which I know there was a controversy about that. And the second thing is, and since I'm not well versed on this, I understand there was a special election in the Rockaways. How does the new city council person stand on the issues that you all are discussing? And my next thing is to just remind everyone that CRDC is doing a membership outreach to Fulton Housing. I'm hoping those people who live in Fulton Housing that are on tonight join us, because this is an issue we want to learn more about and work on the people's behalf. So thank you.
I'd like to add to David, in our notes part of this this presentation, you'll find a link to our membership so you can join for free. It's a link for free membership in CRDC for the 21-22 years. Who's going to answer David's questions? Wow. Facial recognition. Anyone? Miguel?
It hasn't been proposed here at the Fulton House as a facial recognition. And we've been having conversations with residents about joining the club, because many times people that live in public housing feel left out when it comes to voting. So this gives the opportunity them to have a voice in their own community. So hopefully many of the residents of Fulton, Elliott, Chelsea take the opportunity and sign to this club.
Yeah. Doris, anything on facial recognition?
We were never told anything about facial recognition over here. We have a simple key fob, and that's what we use. We don't have nothing about no facial recognition over here. So that's
Okay.
new to me.
And Vissel, you're in Far Rockaway, you and
We don't have that neither. We have the regular key fob to get us in the building.
Yeah.
Right. So
And that's
how
what we
about
have.
your local electeds in Far Rockaway? Vissel?
I think our new councilwoman, I
That's what you're
think
talking
she is for red.
All right, thank you.
I just want to add one thing, Donaldson, to the security system that's set up at Ocean Bay. Most of us that went to Ocean Bay fell in love with it, to be honest with you, the way it was set up.
Me
within
too.
their
I did too.
building, and to get access to their floors only. It was really, really good. We were excited about it.
Yeah. Hey, Vissel, you didn't have an opportunity to speak, and
we just had an incident in this development, right? And just to show you how good the cameras work, right? That the cameras work excellent. We had an incident where a guy was shooting at some girls, what it may be, and another guy disarmed the guy. Everything was caught on tape. Everything.
Wow.
From beginning to end, right? Because I actually had the young guy surrender himself into the police. So everything was caught on tape.
Well, what was the time frame on that? You saw that it happened, and then you found out about it when?
I would say no. I found it the same night. The same night.
Okay.
I heard about it the same night. Right.
Okay, that's good.
But you know, the next day, right? The police were looking at the tapes. The following day, they was making arrests.
That's right.
Okay. Vissel, yeah, Brenda brought up a point that I've been to your campus, and you have your own generator that creates electricity if there's a blackout. You have boilers on the roof, which we should have here in Chelsea, to avoid flooding. You have a beautiful campus. You even got them to build a community garden. But Brenda brought up that they brought in used utilities, like used stoves,
it's called refurbished.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Well, my stove, it looks stainless steel, what it may be, right? I don't
Tell
know
the truth.
I don't know what company it come from, but like I said, it looks, my refrigerator is stainless steel, my stove looks stainless steel, what it may be, right? I don't like what company it come from, but we talked about that on the partners meeting about the warranty and stuff like that on the appliance, right? Like I said, we talk about everything, warranty on all the stuff that was done in our apartments. So, right, because we asked if something get damaged, the stove get damaged or the refrigerator get damaged, is it under warranty, what it may be? Do it falls onto the residents? They say no, it do not fall on the residents, what it may be. If your refrigerator go out, a stove, you will get another one.
Okay, thank you.
Jonathan, let me say one other thing.
That's not what I heard.
I'm sorry.
Miguel?
Ocean Bay also received Sandy money. So they got a lot, like another $100 million to renovate that development also. So that's why they're able to get these generators and things that other developments will not be able to get.
Well, that's not true, because I live on the ocean side and we got all that money also from FEMA.
Oh, good.
And we got generators and we got everything fixed up in the building. There's still a lot more to go, but with that money, they have done a lot of work in our development. And as I notice on the emails that NYCHA sends, and on Facebook, they are doing, and I mean, without privatization, they're making a lot of changes, and they are starting a lot of programs that, we really don't need the private developers to come in, because I keep saying it's people before profit.
Well, that brings up that brings up something that I have to Miguel. Miguel, you still here?
Yeah, but just 1 second because Luana and Susan, they've been waiting a while to
Oh,
ask
sure.
a
Yeah,
question.
yeah. Oh, wait.
So,
Thanks. Sorry.
like, no problem. Luana, go ahead. And then after Luana, Susan, you can go.
Okay, hi, everybody. Thank you. Thank you all for being here today to help us understand this better. I just want to say, David, also Elliott Chelsea, Elliott Chelsea residents are welcome to join CRDC as well for the free membership. So I just wanted to add that. So Miguel and Weissel and Mike and Darlene, I was concerned about this. One thing I was concerned about is that the private management, right? Oh, Miguel, I saw you on New York 1 in your car. The private management, NYCHA gets to select the private management, not the residents, right? So NYCHA benefits from having also the responsibility of giving the responsibility to the owner, the private management company, and they also get a portion of the income from the residents. So they get a portion of the income from the developers and a portion of income from the residents. So NYCHA is still highly involved in this conversion, correct? And this Section 8 voucher that the residents are supposed to get is 30%. I mean, they're supposed to get a Section 8 voucher and an increase in 30% of their income. And so my concern is the vouchers usually subsidize the apartments. So not only are they getting a 30% increase, but they're also getting a voucher, which is a subsidy. So the landlord is technically, the management property is technically getting a market rate value for the apartment.
Yes.
So I was, and also it's beneficial to you guys who are representative, tenant association representative, because you guys get $25 for every unit in your buildings. So it's also beneficial to you guys. One of the things that concerns me is
That's not true. That's not true.
That's what the reading is in the RAD handbook. If you read the RAD handbook, it's true.
Okay.
Oh, I don't get that.
So the first.
So I was concerned. I'm sorry. Let me just narrow my question down. I just wanted to make those 3 points.
Okay.
Fulton and Elliott has not yet made the decision to join this pact, correct?
So to be honest with you, we've met to close to 2 years, having weekly meetings. Through the pandemic, we stopped for a few months, then we restarted. In the next 2 to 3 weeks, the RFP proposal is supposed to be released. The RFP proposal, then once that's released, we're talking in the fall, maybe September, October, we look to choose a developer. And this is going to answer the first question that you said, that NYCHA picks the developer. Unfortunate for NYCHA, we're going to pick together the developer. It's not NYCHA who's picking the developer alone. We have a committee that we formed with the TA leadership of both developments and more residents, and at least 10 more residents from Fulton and Elliott Chelsea together, who will be picking the developer together with NYCHA. So it's not only NYCHA. And that's why I want to hear about the Wave Crest. That's why I want to hear about the LLMs. So we know when we do an interviews to these developers, we know who we're talking to, and we know the history that's happened in other developments. And as for the 30% of your rent will always be the 30% of your rent. So what you're paying for public housing today is what you're going to pay tomorrow with the private partnership that NYCHA has.
But that's
your third,
including the subsidy.
Including the subsidy. And then
so it's more than 30% because they're going to get more than 30% for the apartment.
Well, that's how the program is based. That's where most of the money is going to come from the Section 8 vouchers to pay for the redevelopment. But it does not increase your rent or my rent. We will always pay only 30% of our gross family income.
Right. What I'm saying is that the property is getting a market rate for the apartments with those 2 incomes.
They're not getting a market rate. No, it's a Section 8 voucher. Remember, this is a way that the Obama administration came moving forward to find ways to preserve public housing. If not, public housing in the next 10 to 20 years would have probably been eliminated. Like it happened in Chicago. It happened across the river in New Jersey. There's many other states that public housing does not even exist. We're fortunate to have the units that we have available of public housing in New York State. Unfortunately, it's crumbling little by little. There has been no federal money coming in whatsoever to preserve public housing. Congress hasn't done it. The presidents haven't done it. Nobody has done it. So the Obama administration came up with this idea to create private partnership to preserve public housing, not to
Okay,
eliminate it.
I have a person on the line right now who has their own personal experience, and I'd like for you guys to meet her. Her name is Janine from Ocean Bay. Janine, are you there?
Then as you talk about the $25 per building, the same funding that we get from the New York City Housing
Per
Authority
unit.
per unit, we're going to continue to get the same funding towards the resident association for the development. So it's $15 per unit for the developments. It's not.
Janine's on. Janine's on. Janine, unmute.
Yeah, she's there.
Unmute, Janine.
She has to unmute.
Hey, while she gets on,
I hope I answered your question.
The economic benefit of these vouchers is that, and this is the difference, the developer can now get a mortgage on the property based on the income that comes in through the Section 8 property-based vouchers. That's the economic benefit of it all. See, nobody's getting anything in cash, hard cash. In addition, they're mortgaging. Essentially taking a loan out on future income coming in from rent. All right, that's what it is.
So one of the concerns I had was that I had lived in NYCHA for 40 years, and NYCHA was very good at taking care of their buildings. And what happened to NYCHA reminded me, as Miguel had said, about Chicago. So what they did was let the properties go down enough so that they can raise them and kick out the tenants.
Yeah.
So I saw that happening with the NYCHA buildings, the same exact pattern, and those people were never allowed to return.
Sure.
One of the things that they also mentioned is that, well, let me go back. The current residents are now getting increases in their rent, even though these conversion hasn't started. They've already started getting 30% of their income charged to their rent charged to 30% of their income. So with the same amount of problems in the buildings and everything else, nobody has discussed why these rent increases are occurring without the issues being resolved beforehand.
But it's always been 30%, Luana,
Yeah,
whether
exactly.
it's Section 9 or Section 8, but nothing changed.
No.
Yeah, it's actually, so what happened is, in all honesty, the housing authority has hurt themselves in many ways. They haven't charged families for decades the 30% that they should have been charging. So if they didn't do it 10 years ago, and now they're saying paying catch up, they're saying, well, we got to collect the 30% because that's the HUD regulations. It's not something that was just made up. It's a regulation that HUD has, that the family has to pay 30% of their gross income, and then NYCHA sets what's called a cap rent. So once you reach that cap, that's it. Even they won't charge you above the 30% because it's capped out. That's the only time residents don't pay 30%. But majority of the time, the residents are paying 30%. Through this program, they will be paying 30% of their gross income.
Can we hear from Janine? She has a different story.
She's still not
Excuse me, just hang on. We've had three people that are waiting to ask
I'm
questions.
sorry.
Janine,
Okay,
it's
thank
okay,
you.
Janine. No problem. No, Luana, you're good. We're gonna hear from Janine, but Susan's been waiting for so long. So Susan, Lawanda, Doris, then Janine. That's gonna be the order of the speakers.
Mindy and Miguel and Hector, I need a lot of help from you guys because I came to all these meetings and listening. I'm getting myself scared and nervous, and I need help. I need help to move out all my stuff, and where am I gonna put it? It's not good, and I don't have help. I don't have help and stuff like that. So I need you guys for help and support. I don't have any friends. I don't have anybody. I don't have anybody. I need
Susan,
you, I need you guys help whenever this is gonna be and everything else put together. And another question, Jonathan, why are you guys not charging people for the dues for CDRC when I have to pay every year?
Mindy, you can answer that. She's our president. She'll answer that.
Right, we had made the decision, I think it was in February, that moving forward, that we were for this year to help expand with our membership, is that that it was optional. It is free membership, but if you wanted to still, make a dues.
I did. No, I did. I understand. I did. It's free membership, but if you want to give something for the support to help of something, I did. I sent it in, and I will continue to send it in as long as I get money from the government to help everybody.
Susan.
But I need that's why I want to support people, because I need help. I need help. I need help.
Susan, Hector's trying to respond to you.
Sorry. Hi, Susan. How you, listen, I've been in touch with you. I sent you all the information about the meetings. I've been in touch with your rabbi and your social worker in the past. I assure you that you're not the only one in the same situation with the same concerns. We have a lot of elderly and disabled folks, and some folks who don't have the means to have to deal with this kind of move, okay? One of the requirements that we've demanded is that there'll be social workers on premises to help folks like yourselves and deal with these issues, to help you with this stuff.
Okay, I just make sure that they don't come in and be nasty to me and say, they're gonna go, or APS, I don't want APS ever involved in my care.
Nobody wants anybody in their home that's not gonna be polite and courteous to you. I get it. I don't want anybody in my house like that either. So listen, we're working with everybody. Everyone involved. It's not, nobody's gonna be.
You keep in touch with me, Mindy. You keep in touch with me.
Miguel, we will. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Hector. And Lawanda.
Susan,
I'm sorry, Hector.
Susan, one of the agreements that we have in this proposal is that the company that takes over will be hiring a moving company to help residents like yourself to move your furniture, and will not cost you anything.
Okay, thank you, Miguel. Thank you, Miguel. Thank you.
Just to bear in mind, the original intent is that if possible, we're going to try to rehab these units, your apartments, while in place, if possible, if it's safe. If that's what you choose to do, nobody's going to be forced to move out unless it's some sort of health issue where, God forbid, there's asbestos or something that needs to be removed. Then we have to handle it case by case. Everybody's going to be unique here, depending on what their apartment situation is, okay?
I can't even walk. I can't even walk no more. I got a lot of problems. I can't even walk. I'm getting weaker. I'm getting worse. I'm getting worse.
No problem.
Okay, we'll keep in touch.
Okay, Lawanda.
Can I speak?
Well,
my name is David Leichter.
I can put you on a list. Like I said, you had to raise your hand in the Zoom. So we have Lawanda, Doris, Janine, and then Celie.
I don't see the Zoom here, but it's okay.
Lawanda, that's okay.
Do you see me? It's okay.
No, I don't. I see your name, but I don't see the hand. It's okay. I have you written down.
Okay.
Lawanda, you're on mute if you're trying to speak.
Hello?
Now I hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I really don't have a question, but I'm a president here in Rockaway at Fulton Manor. Carlton Manor is in Rockaway. We have 6 other developments, including Ocean Bay at one time that was under nature. When Sandy came and it affected us, all the developments got money from FEMA, and a lot of things that they sent to us saying that they're going to under this new plan when we become the red pack under these things that they were fixed. But a lot of these things are done or being done before they even take place. So I don't see what the problem is. And the other thing is, but once you go under the RAD program, when you have that Section 8 voucher, there's a thing that it goes by your AMI. If your AMI is over 80%, even though your apartment or whatever is Section 8, you will not get that subsidy because you're over the AMI. So you could end up paying 35 to 45% of your rent, and that's where that comes from.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lawanda. Then we have Doris. Did you still want to speak? Because I saw you put your hand down.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, Doris.
Hi, is it my turn?
Let Janine speak. Janine? Oh,
Is it
Doris,
my
go ahead,
turn?
Doris.
Doris, yeah, Janine goes after Doris.
Okay, so I'm gonna give Janine my turn.
Okay. Janine, you can unmute yourself. Okay, there we go.
No, what Luana was saying was basically the truth. I've noticed that your rent does go up. There's no cap on it. Basically, I know people in here that work that actually lost their Section 8. Okay? That's lost their Section 8 after this program started. That 30%, it's more than that. At times, it's more than that. Some people are being charged the basic base rent, like they live someplace else. I'm quite sure Vice was being charged that from his job. I've seen my rent go up time and time again, and had to go in there for them to ask them, why is it going up? If it's supposed to be 30%. While it was going up, I had no job.
Nights of not sleeping and days of the ones who
No
work
job.
talking, I thought, you know what?
I
Talk
see
about it.
seniors struggling.
Can I?
And this is unacceptable.
David, you have to wait. I'm sorry, you're on a list.
Thank you. At least that you
Then-
admire that I'm here. That's okay. I just wanted to make
About your
sure.
appliances and the inside of your apartment.
And it's not like we got like this, like it's to me it's poor quality stuff we got. I got a refrigerator from him, it broke down 3 times. To the point where I had to go, I went and bought my own.
Okay. Someone's gonna I'm just okay. Sorry, it was just television. There's TV in the background. If you're not on mute, please mute yourself so we can hear the speakers. We have C. Lee next, please. C. Lee, you're on mute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks. So I'm a resident of the Elliott houses, and my question is, someone seems to have said that, if I understand correctly, with the conversion, the residents pay the same rent, but we also would get vouchers, the Section 8 voucher, that also go to the developer. So it seems to me the government would have to pay a lot more money than if they just keep it as a NYCHA housing, NYCHA building. So I don't understand why, if we're really so short on money, that the government would be willing to pay all this extra money, with all the deficit that people are talking about. And then my second question is, it's kind of related to that, but again, why would private investors be willing to pay into the building that they don't live in when the government won't? And then my last question is, why don't we convert to more of a co-op or something like that, where whatever money that the government's willing to contribute will at least stay in the building instead of going to a profit-making private company.
Yeah, I think I can answer some of that question because I did a lot of reporting on this. The beauty of privatization is both Democrats and Republicans like it. It goes private and goes into private money. The voucher system dumps money into the private business. It also relieves NYCHA of all those jobs and all that healthcare, the money that to have people working at those properties. They no longer work there. It's a private, workers, new jobs. It also boosts, just the amount of money you can, take these loans out. These private companies can take loans out to make all the repairs and still make profit. So it's a win-win for both Democrats who want the people to have nice, wonderful lives, and it also, it's great for the private community and the money makers. And anyone wants to add to that?
Okay, so that actually gets me more concerned because I'm a Democrat and I don't like privatization. That it seems like it's something that the corporations like, and the jobs that you're talking about, that's there are going to be jobs in the buildings anyway. So you're talking about replacing public sector jobs with private sector jobs.
That's true.
To
Right,
me, it's
exactly.
like the worst
That's what I'm
thing.
talking about.
That maybe you like that. I don't love it.
I didn't
I'm a
say I
public
liked
employee.
anything. I tried to
I think that's the
explain it to
worst
you.
thing that can happen. That's how people lose pensions, how people lose healthcare. And I never heard of this CRDC before, so I looked it up, and you guys supported Andrew Cuomo, and I'm curious if you still do. He's one of the worst, human beings that I can think of. One of the worst politicians. A lot of deaths in nursing homes, sexual harassment, all these things, and it's and then now you're telling me that privatization is good, and that
Excuse
really
me.
scares me as a
I
public
didn't say, I
employee,
tried to,
as a public resident, housing
I
resident.
tried to
that really
explain
scares
to you why both sides of the aisle like it. I'm not sure if you're understanding. It's not my opinion. I'm just telling you, I'm trying to explain to you why it's being done. And you know what? I got a question that'll go right off to Miguel, because Miguel has this asbestos problem in some of his buildings, and it's not going to be fixed right away by NYCHA. So Miguel, talk about, when I was putting up posters for this meeting, I saw a poster saying all the people that don't have gas, where you meet down in the base in the lobby. And so explain what's going on at Fulton Houses.
So I'll explain that, and just want to answer a little bit to David's concern. So one of the things is this partnership is not privatizing, taking over and owning these buildings. It's a private-public partnership with the New York City Housing Authority and a private developer. The New York City Housing Authority continues to own these buildings and own the land. They lease it for 99 years to a private developer to manage these buildings. That's what happens. It's not owned by this private developer. They lease it for 99 years. After 99 years, it gets turned right back over to the New York City Housing Authority.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miguel, explain what's going on with your asbestos problem.
It's not an asbestos problem. It's a no gas problem. So what happened was February 14th, there was a major water leak at one of the buildings on 19th Street. The fire department responded and turned off every single valve that they seen visible to their eyes. And unfortunately, they turned off the valves to the gas. Whenever that happens, for safety reasons, everything gets shut down for up to 6 months to locate leaks and to locate asbestos. So what's going on now in those apartments, which is 36 units, Con Edison, the New York City Housing Authority, and a private contractor are looking for asbestos within the kitchen areas where the stoves are. So what they do is they remove any asbestos that they locate behind the stove area. That's where the asbestos is now. All the asbestos has been removed. Unfortunately, these tenants without gas and also went a couple of days without heat recently will be without gas for at least up to 6 months.
Okay, just thank you, Miguel. We have David who also wanted to ask something. Ask a
Is it
question,
me?
please.
Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
you.
Is it? Okay.
It's your turn.
Okay. I have to tell you, I've been listening to everything else, and I have to tell you quite frankly, I live in a development which has been affected by Pact and Red. I can tell every one of you, okay, all the TAs there, it's the worst of the scum of the scum. You have not seen in your life what's happening in Independence Towers. People like goons are coming in 7 o'clock in the morning, blasting us away for the past year in the worst pandemic area. And you're gonna tell me NYCHA will vouch for us? Yeah, try to call NYCHA. Try to complain. NYCHA says, I don't know who you are. We've been struggling with this for a year, man. And all these people that I see up front, absolutely, I don't want to call you frauds. This is privatization. And look what kind of work they do, shoddy work. Absolutely. And this is what you call privatization. I lived through this, 2 deaths, okay, because the elevator didn't work. Shootings, no security, okay? Let nobody tell me about Red and Pack because I know more than anybody else. It's a scam, and it's going to continue being a scam as long as the politicians will get and will fight, because all the politicians are in cahoots. Okay, I'm not going to tell about money here, but there's a lot of fingers and a lot of hands in that dough. And that's the reason when we complain to HUD, not to HUD, to HPD, oh, I don't know who you are. Oh, you're not part of NYCHA. So here's the deal. You call 311 and complain. Oh, it's a NYCHA building. Can't complain. You call NYCHA. NYCHA says, no, you're privatized. It is crap, and this has to be cleaned up. And unfortunately, you guys, whoever is planning with Pact and Red, I'm warning you, that's coming to you too. It's not 30%. It's everything what you need to know. They're going to put sub-meters. They're going to put gas meters. They're going to put water meters. And NYCHA is going to vouch for you for 99 years? NYCHA destroyed you with lead. NYCHA got you into this crap with $40 billion. But at least I'll tell you one thing.
So
I
Dave-
know how to handle NYCHA.
David,
So
can I?
you're not gonna sell me Red and Pack. I'm sorry, sir. I know it's full of crap.
David, can I?
I live it every day. Go
All right.
ahead, sir.
David, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
So then, what would you prefer? NYCHA to stay and we crumble?
Good question. Good question. A very good question.
NYCHA put us in this predicament, David.
That's correct. But guess what? NYCHA is divorcing us. NYCHA is telling us to go to hell. That's what NYCHA is telling us. And NYCHA is not going to vouch for us.
Right, so
NYCHA
then-
won't vouch for us for 1 minute.
David, my question to you, what do you propose then?
I'll tell you what.
NYCHA.
Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Pack.
Okay, I'm not a radical, but I'll tell you what. Money has to come to refund NYCHA. This is my belief. If this is going the private way, it's a disaster for everybody here.
It will be.
It's a fact.
And David,
Go ahead.
NYCHA
And I'm talking because I'm in pain. Go ahead.
put us in this predicament, David.
So am I, David. I hear you.
I'm in pain.
And you know what? They have the money,
Brenda,
but they don't
you're
have the will.
100% right. Whatever you say is just a tip of the iceberg. I live this through every single day. The mafias, goons, they come home. Goodbye, I'm not here. We live in this development. We know what's happening here. And guess what? Our TA presidents sold us out. I don't know why, but I guess I do.
David, can I?
Yes, I do. Money, 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 money. I guess I do.
David,
What management?
Go ahead.
What management company do you have there that it's in your?
Okay, here we go. Reliant, and as a matter of fact, they have about 25 different shell companies. One of them is Reliant Baloney. Then you have Omni LLC. Then you have Renewal Construction. So again, I'm all mixed up, and this has been already 1 year. It's BS #1, and I can attest to it. And whoever wants to come over to Independence Towers, I would gladly take him on a ride, and I'll show him exactly what's happening. Now, You'd ask me, so how come nobody comes and protests? Guess what? You catch bees with honey, you don't catch them with vinegar. They come in with these furniture and with these shoddy work. Oh, I'm getting a new kitchen. But you know what? At the end of the day, you wait 2 years, they're going to kick out everybody. Mark my word. I'm smart. I'm smart. I'm a smart Jew. I know exactly what's happening, my friend.
David, I'm going to take.
And guess what? And guess what? They caused all kinds of, and I'll be honest with you, they caused all kinds of anti-Semitic things in my development because they accused this Jewish development, these Jewish goons, of creating all this mess. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell it to you up front.
Okay,
Yep.
David, I'm going to take you up on your offer and visit Independence.
Go ahead, and I'll be your how do you call him? Your tour guide.
Thank you. Thank you.
When do you want to do it?
So
We'll
put
talk.
information on the chat, and we'll definitely talk, David.
Okay, good. You should know it's not perfect. It's not perfect. It's 100% wrong.
Miguel, make sure before we do all this, and they put us out in the COVID. He's right. He's right. and
Brenda, I know
what's
what you're going through with
Guys.
pain. Let nobody
right.
sell you garbage because I
He's
know what this
right.
garbage
He's
is all about.
I know what's gonna happen. I feel it already.
Absolutely. I give it to you in writing, Brenda. That's what's going to happen. Sub meters for gas, meters for electricity.
Well,
Exactly.
this meeting, we've really learned that
Yes.
it's really important to pick out the management companies
Gotta
and
find
to
out,
do.
yeah.
Absolutely. And we were sold out. We were sold down
and
the
to
river.
make sure that there's
Yeah, you're right.
communication between management
right.
and the tenants.
And this never happens with us.
Yeah.
No way.
David,
And we can't complain to NYCHA. NYCHA says, I don't know who you are. I'm divorced. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm thank you very much for all this information. I'm gonna go over with Miguel to you. Just you're in Independence Towers.
Independence Towers, and the
Where's
same
that?
crap is at Williams Plaza. Same crap.
Williams
Okay.
Plaza. Where?
In Williamsburg. In
Williamsburg in
Yep.
Brooklyn.
Absolutely.
Because as a group, I think we have a lot of good people here that can fight together, fight and help your, places like your place and Ocean Bay and bring it up to par, because this is ridiculous. It's horrible. It's horrible that you don't have
Well,
the
I'm going to tell you
safety.
something. I'm going to tell you something because they're saying Yiddish mazel tov. I haven't heard this in my life, that somebody wants to work on our behalf and correct the wrong what's happening here on a daily basis. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Can you imagine this? 7 o'clock in the morning? What's the emergency? In pandemic? With non-union people knocking on doors? Guess what? They broke open a door because the guy didn't let him in to install a new door. They broke him open like real goons. Let me tell you, brother, I know what private means. Private goons. Sorry about that.
I heard they walking in and out of people's houses.
Absolutely, positively, Diana. You got
the
it.
maintenance people.
Maintenance
the
people,
management.
guess what? After hours, you got to go to Romania. You know how much a Romanian self-service gets paid? 5 cents an hour. After 4 o'clock, after 5 o'clock, actually. And guess what? Most of the time, you call the office, nobody is there. I know this mess, and it continues to be a mess. Oh, yes, but they promised us Alice in the Wonderland in another year. Yeah.
David, as you notice in this Zoom call, we're all listening to you.
Absolutely, and I appreciate that.
David, so
and I'm talking from my heart, believe me.
we feel your pain. We're here to support you, David.
Thank you.
We're not here to criticize you.
Thank you.
Show you our support, and we understand.
Thank you,
Brenda, and anyone else that's saying they're going through issues. We're here for each other. We all
Thank you.
Housing.
Right.
If there's anything we can do, we will do what we can.
And Greg Russ is a sellout. He's horrible.
Oh,
He's done this
absolutely, positively.
all over the United States.
Absolutely, positively. And if you continue to do this, he'll march, and he'll destroy everybody. Sorry.
Someone's hand is up. Susan?
Susan,
Unmute.
you're on mute.
Mindy, I'm listening to that gentleman, and that gentleman is 100% right. And like I said, we got to get our facts straight before we disrupt everybody. Because I'm listening to what people are saying over here, and I know the deal before you guys know the deal. I want to be sure I don't be kicked out, and I want to make sure that somebody's gonna help me, and it's gonna be all right. That's what I'm saying, Mindy. You have my phone number, Miguel. You have my phone number, and Hector, you have my phone number. Okay, I'm scared.
Yeah, we
Susan,
got you, Susan.
we're tough as-
David, I got a question for David again.
It's a shame.
David, we have very strong electeds in our area. Have you ever reached out to your electeds about this in your
Oh
area?
God! Oh, don't get me talking with these guys. Don't get me talking about these guys.
No, I'm asking you to talk about
Of
these
course,
guys.
of course. Yeah. They don't want to look. They don't want to put their fingers in water. Sorry about that. They say this is as much as they can do. They don't want to overlook these guys because if they come in very strong with them, they're not going to listen to them. Okay, so we have elected officials which we got to get out, including the rascals, as soon as possible, with God's help and help with everybody else.
Therese,
ASAP.
Therese, you've had problems with your locals, right? Your
Oh,
local
yeah,
electeds?
but my elected officials, yeah, but my best one was Hoyerman. And Hoyerman and Harvey Epstein, I give them the utmost respect. But I'm gonna say this, I don't know, we had issues in the middle of the night with a broken bathroom pipe or a toilet ran over, and he said he don't contact nobody. I can't say that. I can't say that. I have my super number on speed dial, so does every other resident in this building. They posted in the building. We have the cases downstairs. Anybody new that comes in here, a super, a community liaison, we get the numbers instantly and they post it. So I can't say that. I can't say that. Something happens in the middle of the night, we get answers here.
Okay, so it must have been, Jonathan, that my development, unfortunately, we had no luck. So we want to know who got this guy in, who got this management in, who and what and where. And there must be an investigation. We would like to know how these shysters came in.
Yeah.
Yes.
David,
Absolutely.
David, in our community, when we have problems like that with the management, we usually have people outside their offices with signs. And we're
Yes, we
joined with
did.
our community. We're
Yes,
joined
we
with our
did.
community electeds.
Yes, we did. And we had it. January 11. Yes, we did.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. Yes, that is correct.
What did you do?
Well, we demonstrated for about 2 hours.
Right.
Did anybody listen? No. There was no media. They have no interest in it. Okay.
Wow.
We have to join
That's
forces.
the story. It's
We have to join
unfortunately
forces
people are
because
getting stiffed.
We
And the
are
problem
fighting
is,
this
Jonathan, is
fight
this.
in all different locations. We have to join forces and create one
Absolutely.
large
And as
voice.
soon as possible, Brenda, whatever your name is, as soon as possible, because
I
they
left
are
you my
going
email.
to overrun us.
Are your emails in the chat?
Yes,
Oh,
my
good.
email's in
So-
the chat.
So,
Simple.
David, put your email in the chat and I'll
It
put
should-
mine in.
It should be there, actually. It should be there. Yes. Goodyear1961@gmail.com.
All right,
I
I'll
can
put
tell you
mine
this
in.
much. The horrible stories. I can't even sleep at night. I get the hell out of here on weekends because I can't take it anymore. You can't imagine.
You're lucky you
People
have
coming
someplace
in,
to go.
7 o'clock in the morning. Tell me what the emergency is to blast away our nerves. 7 in the morning. And that's been going on for the past year in pandemic times. Please, any one of you, explain it to me, please.
David, can Janine, are you still on? Because I know that she wanted to mention one more thing to you about the security, which Vice had no idea about, and what the Wavecrest management had promised, as well as the refurbished appliances. Janine, are you still on? All right, she's not.
Okay.
But you know, she's the one that has the most experience because she lives there. I'm sorry. Maybe next time.
I think Lenny has.
I just want to say something. Right. First of all, a lot of residents wasn't used to paying 30% of the rent. Like I heard somebody speak earlier, which is true. they gave amnesty, right? And a lot of people put their kids back on the lease. They put their husband on the lease, and the income that their kids was making, the income that their husband was making, when I came in, their rent went up and they wasn't used to paying that extra rent. Then they try to take their husband off or take their kids off, because I know a lot of residents ran and put their kids on the lease because they gave amnesty to anybody. You could put anybody you want on your lease. You could put anybody on your lease. You could put your dog on your lease. They gave amnesty, right? Same thing, right? Nobody had to leave the development. They hired helpers to actually move the furniture in the apartments. Like I said, we met with them. We said we had seniors. So like I said, a lot of stuff like I said, right? We made sure we met with them to make sure that the seniors wouldn't have to leave the apartment, to make sure that they hired helpers to help them move the furniture, because we knew we had a lot of seniors here that lived alone by themselves.
Okay.
Right, so like I see it.
But just hang on. Well, Lenny's been waiting, but after Lenny speaks, we have to wrap up the meeting. So Lenny, go ahead.
And by the way, thank you for letting me speak. Thank you so much for letting me
Dave,
speak.
don't go yet, Dave.
I'm here. I'm here, buddy.
All right.
I'm
Hi,
here.
I want to thank you all for getting this together. My name's Lenny Rosado, by the way. Also from the Fulton Development.
Hello.
And I'm the TA Vice President over here for Fulton Developments. Dave, I just want to tell you, man, I'm a big fan of yours. And the reason why I say that, going back to 2019, we've had a lot of protesting, with some of our residents over here, and a lot of people, activists from other boroughs, from the Bronx, Brooklyn, come down here and, say what they say about why RAD is not good. But I want to tell you, I've heard all of them out here for the past year and a half saying why RAD's not good, why PAD's not good. But you, Dave, you broke it down the way I've never heard it before. And I appreciate that.
Come to my community. Let me show you the sellouts. Let me show you my TA sellout. Let me show them to you. Let me show all the councilmen, all the sellouts, from the congressman to the councilman, to anybody that sold us out down the shaft. Yeah.
I'm sure Miguel, we're definitely going to set up a meeting to go over it. But I just want to say that.
Thank you.
You broke it down to the signs that no other activist that has come down to my community and try to say why RAD's not good, PAD's not good. But they come down here and tell us it wasn't good enough. But you broke it down to the science. But what I want to say though, we got something special going on here. And I'm not trying to say, hey, Fulton and Chelsea, we're the top of the notch development in New York City. But the working group that we've put together with elected officials, with NYCHA, with nonprofit organizations, from residents from Chelsea and Fulton, I'm just going to say this. We put it down to the facts that when we do this, the developers are not going to run us over. We're going to make sure that we get our way, or it's the highway. And I tell you this because I was raised here since I was 3 years old. And I'm willing to fight. They're not going to get over us. And I feel for
Lenny, that's not in my case. That's not in my case, Lenny. Sorry about that.
No,
that's
I know.
100,000 degree difference from what you're going through. 100 million%.
Yeah.
And so, please come in droves.
But I'm coming.
And let me show you what's
Okay.
happening here.
But thank you so much.
Okay, Jonathan.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for joining this meeting. It's very, very moving, and it was interesting on all fronts. I personally are going to follow through with Miguel on a lot of these issues. I think we have a voice that that should go toward NYCHA and have them explain what's going on at these
NYCHA doesn't want to know us. They don't want to listen to us. They divorced us. Okay. Yep.
Well, we're going to try anyway, David.
Thank you.
We have our ways of getting people to listen, and we'll do our. I'm a reporter. I can write about it, and I can come and take photos of your place. Definitely.
Thank you. Tomorrow,
David, they divorced you without a get, though.
And I want to see those broken cabinets.
Better believe it.
Hello,
Anyway,
good evening. This is Giselle Gavin. I came on, I was unable to come on and sorry I'm late.
oh, thanks. Could you just quickly talk about, I'm sorry, but she came late. Give you 2 minutes to talk about your community up at Estancias. She's the,
Okay, I'm the Tenants Association President of the Kansas Houses, and we went through the conversion of RAD. We was very skeptical within entering this whole new program, but as you know, NYCHA has unable to upkeep of the property, so they had to bring in these this private developer, which we thought that it was privatization in the way that we're going to be put out of our apartments, and we would not have no say, we wouldn't have no rights. However, it's a complete different. You know, what we did, we came in with asking all the tough questions. We had a ton of meetings. Some of the things that the developer wanted to implement, it didn't work for us at the Tansit. Maybe it would work for other development, but we was able to have a voice in some of these things, and it was rectified. And as I said, we were skeptical, we were scared, but we had a lot of we had nothing to lose because we were swarming in rats infestation. It was a lot of mold, a lot of issues that we had, and it was not getting rectified. A lot of paraphernalia, drug use. Now we love our apartment. It's a sight to behold. The development, the area and the neighborhood is just transitioning. We have no more fear of coming into our buildings, no more, because we have cameras, multiple cameras. So all I want to say is give the developer a chance, have that conversation, have that meeting, ask those tough questions. They are not coming to put you on. They are not coming to take over. They cannot. It has rules and that they have to abide to, and it have rules that we have to abide with.
Yeah, rules
So
by
just-
nature. You're right. Rules by nature. You're right.
No, have that conversation.
Nature destroyed 4,000 people in lead. You're right. Mhm.
Maybe they did, but
Yeah,
have that
you're right.
conversation. I'm not trying to sugarcoat NYCHA. NYCHA
Yeah.
was not doing what they were supposed to do. I am telling you about these developers that are coming in. I don't know about your developer or
Yeah,
who is
most
coming
probably
in to
we fell through
rectify,
with this
but you,
developer. We fell through with this developer. That's the way it is. Absolutely. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yep.
but you have to have a conversation. You
There's no
just can't
conversation
just
going on. No conversation. They don't want to talk. Forget about it. They're goons.
well,
Forget about it.
guys,
What am
we
I gonna tell you?
definitely had a lot of conversation tonight. I want to thank you all. And Giselle, thank you so much for reporting about this Tonsis.
And thank you, Jonathan.
yeah,
Thank you so much for giving me that speech that I could have done and done much better. But again, time.
All right.
Jonathan,
I just want to say
just
goodnight.
Jonathan, before we get off,
Yeah.
I want everyone to know, as district leader of the 75th Part A of this club, that I am very proud of you, Jonathan and Miguel, and all of the people that came on this evening's program. I'm going to ask if it's possible to renew our conversation on what's going on, because I can see that one side is helping the other because one side is more informed than the other. And this is the only way perhaps those people that are experiencing difficulty can help themselves by learning from other people. So I want to thank everyone. I really want to thank Jonathan for all of his effort to put this together. I mean, it's fantastic. And Miguel Acevedo, who's been leading for years Chelsea's forums as a speaker, as someone that has put forums together for us to come and speak about and get the experts as well. To help everybody. This has really been extremely productive, and I hope we can do it again and again. Even if it's not a meeting, a club's monthly meeting, if it's a special meeting, and people feel that Chelsea can help, please call upon Jonathan, the district leaders, our president, Mindy, who's been working the phones like a saint. I don't know how she does this. I want everybody to make sure that you are aware and you've been introduced to my new co-leader, Charles Bayer, who's on the line waving, and some of our new members, like Luana and Susan, hello to you. So I'm going to
Hi, Sylvia.
I'm going to
Hi,
say
Sylvia.
goodnight to everybody, but I really wanted to tell you how pleased I am that this has been so interactive and so wonderful that I hope we can do it again and again and again and again.
And thank you so much again,
Thank you so much,
everybody
Sylvia.
that
I
helped
hope you
get this
all.
meeting.
Thank you. Love you.
Okay, let's all
Good
have a
night.
good night. This
Good night, everyone.
This
Good night.
meeting was recorded.
Night.
Have a good night.
Good night,
night.
everyone.
Good night.